From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
This is a WUFT News update. I'm Elizabeth Biro.
And I'm Gabriella Mercurio. Thank you for joining us. U.S. Special Forces carried out a raid in Syria overnight to kill the current leader of the Islamic State terrorist group. The Biden administration says most of the civilian deaths came from a suicide bomb. NBC's Alice Barr reports.
Last night,
President Biden today announcing an overnight raid in northwestern Syria led to the death of the global leader of ISIS.
Thanks to the bravery of our troops, this horrible terrorist leader is no more.
The president, who watched the raid from the Situation Room, said that as U.S. Special Forces closed in, Abu Ibrahim al-Hashimi al-Qureshi detonated a suicide bomb, killing himself, his wife, and their 2 children, an outcome the president said he tried to avoid.
We made a choice to pursue a Special Forces raid at a much greater risk than to our own people, rather than targeting him with an airstrike. We made this choice to minimize civilian casualties.
The Pentagon says U.S. forces used a bullhorn to call civilians out of the building and safely evacuated 10 people, including 8 children, though at least 1 other child was killed by gunfire, and there are reports of other deaths. All Americans made it out safely, and defense officials say they're still reviewing the operation. The Biden administration says the suicide bombing appears to be the same tactic as in the 2019 operation that eliminated the last head of ISIS, al-Baghdadi. A reminder another terrorist leader will emerge.
They are still a threat, and we're not. Nobody's taken a victory lap here.
President Biden said al-Qureshi was behind attacks targeting Americans and atrocities against civilians from the Middle East to South Asia, and that his death sends a message to terrorists around the world.
We will come after you and find you.
A major terror threat taken off the battlefield, though the larger war continues. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
President Biden says all American forces involved in the raid have returned safely from the operation. 1 helicopter suffered a mechanical failure. It was abandoned and later destroyed by an airstrike.
Amid rising tensions between Russia and the West over Ukraine, the U.S. is making a few troop movements of its own to better defend NATO allies. 1,000 U.S. soldiers in Germany will temporarily move to Romania, and 1,700 more will leave from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to bolster the ranks in Poland and Germany. The Biden administration says the moves are meant to deter a Russian invasion of Ukraine, and no U.S. troops are intended to go into Ukraine or engage in combat.
2 local nonprofits joined forces to bring science to the forefront of Alachua County students' minds.
WUFT's Amy Galo joins us now to tell us how these organizations help kids become contributing members to society. Amy?
Thanks, Elizabeth and Gabriella. A former teacher wanted to give Gainesville students an experience that takes them beyond the traditional confines of the classroom, without having to leave the educational setting. She created a travel program that brings a hands-on learning experience to kids. When Adrienne Tiki made the decision to leave her field and start teaching science, she noticed something about her students.
Like they think it's just not wasting time, passing time. Passing time until I turn 18 and then I can be a contributing member of society. The reality is they can be a contributing member of society now.
During her time as a teacher in Gainesville schools, Tiki found it hard to incorporate experiential learning in the classroom.
The more education went to the standardized testing and the pacing guides and the accelerated curriculum and the concepts being the most important thing, and then teaching reading and science, and it became this whole sort of trajectory towards making it more and more difficult to take the time to do hands-on activities in the classroom.
Before she knew it, Tiki started Hands On Gainesville, a nonprofit organization that partners with groups and schools in the community to bring experiential science activities to children. Most recently, Hands On partnered with another local nonprofit, New Technology Made Simple Now, to help Resilience Charter middle school students build an energy-efficient dollhouse. New Tech Now, a family company, specializes in teaching 3D printing and virtual reality to students, the elderly, and veterans.
We're all trying to work together, trying to support each other, trying to, benefit our whoever it is that we serve. And Adrian and I both serve youth.
Pepple plans to have the kids use augmented reality to create interactive elements and take-home storybooks to go with the physical dollhouse, which they'll also build.
They'll be using the technology to teach about what they've just learned by building the house in a fun, exciting way that will be given to littler kids to teach them. Maybe they'll teach their parents about how to be energy efficient.
Both Tiki and Pepple hope to have a positive impact on the local community through this project.
Our mission is bringing people together to improve their lives through technology.
Hands On Gainesville expects to have the energy-efficient dollhouse displayed in an exhibit at a partnership library once it's completed. On the other hand, New Tech Now plans to unveil a mobile steam engine this March.
This morning, fire crews responded to a fire at the Alachua County Feed and Seed store. The flames caused widespread damage to the building and rerouted north side Gainesville traffic this morning. Gainesville Fire Rescue was called shortly after 7 a.m. and found flames from the roof of the building located at 2316 Northwest 6th Street. While the cause of the fire remains under investigation, many store customers are expressing concerns over the safety of a few cats hanging around the building. The owner's daughter tells us one of the store cats, RC, has been found.
No word yet on any others, and no people were injured.
But this Florida weather has been so nice lately.
It has. I walked to work today instead of driving because it was so beautiful. Ashley Weinstein joins us from the weather studio. Ashley, will this weather continue into the weekend?
Today and tomorrow we're looking at pretty nice weather. Unfortunately, we are going to have another cool down this weekend, and I'll get into that a little bit later in the show. Right now we're looking at 81 degrees, feels like 81. We do have these clouds coming into our area, but again, no major wind chill at all. It feels nice outside. And for the rest of our region, we're looking at high 70s, low 80s, 81 in Palaca, 80 in Ocala, and 78 down in the Villages. Now this evening, temperatures are going to be staying in the low 60s, high 50s because again, these warmer temperatures and as well as moisture is going to persist into tomorrow. Now to the north and west of us, we have a system building, and this front will make its way to us tomorrow evening. But for now, we are looking at that 80-degree temperature. So let's break down when this is going to happen and what's to come next. So clouds with isolated showers through tomorrow as that front makes its way to us tomorrow evening. And once that cool air comes behind the front, we're going to see a cool down by the weekend, and high pressure as well as cooler and drier conditions will be building into early next week. This front that is passing us tomorrow is expected to pass around dinner time on Friday and then stall out in central Florida towards Orlando early Saturday morning. There's a lot of cells and activities along with this, so I'd carry an umbrella with you around here the next couple of days, but drying out towards the end of the weekend. So our highest possibility for showers is going to be Saturday. They will be isolated, so not too much of a cause for concern. And then Sunday, we're looking at getting into that drier and cooler weather. There still will be some moisture in the atmosphere, which brings me to my 6-day outlook, where we see today and tomorrow those temperatures are going to be almost summertime-like, cool down by the weekend, and much more normal conditions by early next week. For this time of year, we're looking at the low to mid 60s. Now it's looking like a 100% chance of sports right now on our radar. Over to Tori Edwards with sports.
The Florida men's basketball team welcomes number 7 Tennessee this evening for the Gators' second consecutive top 10 matchup. The Gators entered tonight's matchup with a 15-6 record, coming off of a 62-50 loss to number 1 South Carolina. Despite the loss, Florida managed to force 21 turnovers against the Gamecocks. The Volunteers come to the O-Dome after a narrow 86-83 victory over Arkansas and hold a 19-2 record. Tip-off is set for 6. On the men's side, the Gators came out on top yesterday, winning a nail-biter with Missouri. The Gators went 22 for 26 on free throws. The most crucial of all were by Tyree Appleby's, 2 that sealed the 66-65 victory with less than 8 seconds remaining. Appleby was perfect from the line, going 10 for 10.
I preach to myself all the time. I'm automatic from the free throw line. So, and we shoot them. I think we shoot the most free throws probably between any team in the country. So I think, I think that just prepared me for that moment.
The Gators host Ole Miss on Saturday.
In high school hoops, GHS girls basketball dominated Buchholz in the District 3 6A tournament last night. Junior forward Leah Houston tossed in 30 points to help lift the Hurricanes to a 65-47 win. She also reached a personal milestone, 1,000 career points scored. The Lady Hurricanes will take on Columbia in the district championship on Friday. We have a small slate of local high school girls hoops taking place tonight. In the District 4 2A tournament, Oak Hall is just underway against University Christian, and St. John's Country Day faces off with St. Joseph Academy at 7. In District 6 1A, Fort White goes up against Brantford at 6, and Dixie County will face off with Bradford at 7:30. That's your look at sports. Now back to the desk.
Thanks for keeping up with WUFT News on Facebook. I'm Elizabeth Biro.
And I'm Gabriella Mercurio. That's our time for now, but your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org.